Hello my friends, this is David. Welcome to the Daily Bread. This is blog post number 2, but it's vlog post number 1. The first video log. I'm trying out different ways to show you guys what's going on here with me in Nairobi. I just want to give you guys my first impressions of Nairobi. I've been here for 2 weeks and it's been a very, very hectic 2 weeks, I'm not gonna lie. I've been traveled around Nairobi, I've traveled outside of Nairobi. Went to a concert last Friday night for Sauti Sol. I went to a rugby match yesterday. I started work as well, which took me very different places. Also to the Kibera slum, which is nearby. So I'll talk about all of that hopefully in this video, if not later, and I'll try to condense it all so you guys can get, my experiences. So plugs. Follow me on Instagram. That's my day-to-day. Everything that I'm doing is gonna be on my Instagram, so check that out for sure. So without further ado, here we go. First thing I want to say is that Nairobi is a very big, beautiful, hustling, bustling, busy city, and I love it. The people of Nairobi are just so awesome, so kind, so friendly. I'll walk by, see the security guard outside of my complex every day. I'll meet people on the street or people in cafes, and I'll say hi, and they always say hi back with a smile, always engaging in friendly chatter. So the people of Nairobi are just great. I think I've adjusted very well to Nairobi so far, mainly because Nairobi is so much like Pretoria, the city I grew up in. Walking around the malls even, I saw Mr. Price, I saw Woolworths, I saw Truworth, and felt some nostalgia because those are the stores I shopped at as a kid back in South Africa, but they aren't in Canada, so feels like I'm back home. And so I must say, it feels great to be back in Africa. And that's a very general statement, but I found Nairobi is very similar to Pretoria in many ways. It's a very, very diverse city. Not so much in the people that you see, because being honest, 99% of the people I see in the street, everyone are black, so which is very weird to readjust to, but it feels great. But it's very diverse in the sense that you have a lot of people of different, economic backgrounds, and it's very diverse in terms of the scenery and the environment around. So just for example, I'm living right now in a gated community. There's security at outside our complex, and there's 7 apartment buildings. Each unit has, a gate in front of its door that you have to get through with a padlock, all that type of stuff, which is, I'm personally used to, because I grew up in Pretoria with a very, very similar thing. And the security is just there because, Nairobi is known for its crime, unfortunately, but the neighborhood I'm living in is fairly posh, I must say. And just down the road, maybe 5 minutes from my place, is Kibera slums, and people living in much very different situations than I am. More say mabati houses, sheet metal houses, or mud brick houses. I'll talk about the slums later because there's so much to get into, but just to show you that there's many different people with different economic standings living in the same area. And in terms of diversity as well, you'll be walking along the streets, and you'll see beautiful trees are around, and there's really nice buildings around as well, with beautiful sidewalks and great malls around as well. But then to contrast that beauty, you'll have streets that are a bit dirty. On the bigger streets, there's some gutters on the side of the road with open sewage, so it's a bit dirty in that sense. So that's what I mean by diversity, is beauty with contrasted with a bit of filth and dirt around here. So it's definitely interesting living. A big difference or similarity that I found with Pretoria as well in Nairobi is that you'll have quite a few people begging in the streets, but in South Africa, you'll have people selling maybe bootleg DVDs of fruit walking, weaving through the streets. But here, I think because the traffic is so crazy, you'll have people more on the side of the street, and you'll have people begging. And it's a bit difficult and different here, because here, one, it's more, you'll find more disabled people, or people who appear to be disabled on the side of the street begging. If not disabled men, then it would be either elder women or just kids coming up to you asking for money. So it's not something I haven't seen before, but it's different in that context, and so it's just something to get adjusted to. But even more differently, so this is what's different from Pretoria, is that you'll have markets on the side of the street, just like pop-up shops, restaurants, people cooking and selling food on the side of the street. You'll have people setting up with a little shoe stop on the side of the road. You'll have people selling clothes, selling just like tech stuff, hardware that you need. Just little pop-up shops, that's new to me, but it's also very interesting. It gives Nairobi a certain vibe, that you can get anything you want for cheap just walking along the street. So that's definitely cool. One interesting thing I've noted that I really want to share with you guys is that at every mall you go to here, there's security guards placed at the front with metal detectors, and so every time you go, you have to place your bag through so that they can look through it. You have to take out all your phones and everything. It's essentially like airport security, and then walk through a metal detector. So I asked around, and I had an idea of why it was, but I had to confirm. But a few years ago, there was a terrorist attack at Westgate Mall, and many people died in that incident, and as a result, they've beefed up security at every mall in Nairobi. So it's there's one thing that I noticed right away as soon as you every time you go into a mall, you have to either sign in or you get stopped and checked by security. You have to walk through a metal detector, kind of like airport security. It's interesting to note or to see the effects of an unfortunate event. And then, so one thing I definitely have to mention, the traffic here in Nairobi. My word, is it crazy. So there's in terms of like public transport, there's three really ways to get around. You can have a boda, which is a motorcycle. If you know a good boda driver, you can just call him up and you can have a reliable one, or if not, you can just find one by luck driving on the street, kind of like you can call a taxi in Canada. Then next you have a matatu, which is like a taxi, but more like a taxi in South Africa, but in Canada resembles more like a minivan. It's like seats 12 people, and it just will take you wherever you need to go. They have routes, but those routes aren't posted anyway. You kind of have to know it by word of mouth or just from like living in Nairobi for a while. And then after that you have buses, which are similar to matatus. It's just that they carry 20 to 30 people, and they also have like the same routes. But traffic in Nairobi is crazy. You can be stuck in a jam for the longest time, and it can get frustrating if you haven't lived here for a while. The other thing to note is that matatus are king of the road. They will weave in and out of traffic. They'll budge in front of you. They'll sometimes drive on the side of the road and just like get up and cut ahead of the traffic. My friends in South Africa, you'll know this because this is the same there. But yeah, it's crazy. And if you're not used to it, you can get really frustrated. But so you just gotta laugh it off because that's the way it is. But matatus are definitely king of the road here. In terms of food, the thing I love most about Nairobi food is that the food that I get at home, that my mom cooks when I'm at home and that she cooked growing up, I can find in fast food restaurants here. And so there's like nyama choma, which translates to fried meat. It's cooked the way I had at home, and it just tastes so great that you have to try it if you come here. The other thing is ugali, which is pap or fufu if you're from South Africa, but they have ugali in shops here. And mommy, if you're watching this, I've eaten so much ugali since being over here. It's crazy. Every time I go home, my mom cooks ugali and tries to get me to eat it, but it doesn't always happen when I'm home. So she'll be happy to hear that I'm eating some while I'm over here. Anyways, but I could write an entire blog post about food, but I've been trying different things, and I'll be posting it as I eat them. It's the different things I'm trying here, because there's a whole bunch of food beyond just African food, just from all over the world. So yeah, I think that's everything for now. I've talked for I don't know how long, but hopefully that gives you a decent summary of like my first impressions of Nairobi. If I was unclear about anything, if you have any questions, comments, whatever, sound off in the comments below, both on my blog and on YouTube. I'm gonna try to leave a few like Swahili words that I've learned and the words that I use that you might not understand, so check those out there. Also, check out Sauti Sol. They're a Kenyan boy band, I guess. The song that's playing in the background is by them, called Sura Yako. It's been stuck in my head all week, so definitely give them a listen. So one thing I'm gonna do every time to close off each of my video logs is read a letter that was written to me by one of my chapter members at EWBUFT. So my awesome chapter members got me this journal, and at the end of the journal, they all wrote me, a bunch of people wrote me a few different letters. So first one that I'm gonna open today is gonna be from Jacinth. Okay, so those of you who don't know, Jacinth is my partner at EWBUFT this past year, working on our member learning curriculum. Thank you so much for this, Jacinth. I appreciate your letter so much. So shout out of the day goes to Jacinth Chong. Okay, awesome. That's it for me. I'm gonna post about like my first week of work and like everything I got up to then. That's gonna be my next blog post, so stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it.